are a virgin. That statement is going to be correct for about 27% of you. And unfortunately, a lot of guys have kind of a nerve-wracking time when they lose their virginity. But don't worry, your big brother Stirling's here to help you out. In today's video, I'm going to baby step you through what to expect as a virgin the first time you have sex, and more importantly, how to make it a far more enjoyable experience for you and your partner. My name is Stirling Cooper. I'm an award-winning adult film star. I'm a former high-class male companion, and I'm here to help you improve your sex life. Now, it may not come as much of a surprise to you to hear that male virginity is on the rise these days. Somewhere around 27% of men from the ages of 18 to 30 are reporting themselves as virgins. And even if you aren't a virgin, then the chances that you've had sex in the last year are relatively slim compared to women of the same age. Now, it's channels like mine which aim to tip those numbers back in a more equal level. Now, the first thing to understand if you're a virgin is the first time you have sex, you're going to be shit at it. This is totally normal and totally okay. Sex is a learnable skill just like any other. That's the whole point of my YouTube channel. So, don't go into your first sexual experience expecting to blow her mind. It's very, very unlikely that you're gonna do much that's gonna get her off. Now, a lot of guys go into their first sexual experience kind of worried that they might ejaculate too quickly, that they might have a premature ejaculation, they might get super excited and be really into it, and they might bust early. Okay, cool. That is the case for some guys, and that's perfectly understandable because it's your first sexual experience. If you're really excited about it, you're really into it, then that's a good thing. Take that as a positive. Okay, don't beat yourself up over it. Kind of accept that as part of the territory of being a virgin and this being your first time. Look, the first time you hopped on a bike without training wheels, you probably fell over a time or two. So don't beat yourself up over it like you wouldn't have beaten yourself up over it as a kid getting on a bicycle, right? Now, the more important thing to understand is that, in fact, a lot of dudes will have the complete opposite experience when they have sex for the first time. And that is, they don't actually orgasm at all. I know that was my experience. I know that's the same experience with a number of my friends when we've talked about this. And that might actually surprise you as, a guy who's going into his first sexual experience. Because, you've been taught to expect to pop early. That's what every mainstream movie tells you. That's what all these, teenage coming-of-age movies teach guys, that, the first time they have sex, they're going to be terrible, they're going to bust pretty quickly. But there's a whole segment of the male population who the first time they have sex, it just doesn't happen. They don't orgasm, they don't climax, and they wonder why. Well, here's the reason why. It's because you've spent your adolescence jerking off. You spent your teenage years beating your meat, and a first-time partner, a woman who's being with you for the first time ever, is not likely to replicate the sensation of your hand exactly with her vagina. It's just not very likely to happen. So you've kind of trained your body to respond to a certain stimulus, certain rhythm, certain pressure, whatever, with your hand, and then you get a vagina for the first time, or a woman's mouth for the first time, or whatever, and it's not the same sensation. And so your sort of expectations and your reality are a bit far apart. And that's why you don't climax. And that is also totally okay. Don't beat yourself up over it. Just expect that. Now you've heard this, it's not going to be as much of a surprise to you, and more importantly, you're not going to beat yourself up over it. That's something I really, really want to emphasize here, is as a virgin, if you bust really quickly or if you don't bust at all, no matter what happens here, this is okay. Like, the single worst thing that you could ever do in your first sexual encounter is to like beat yourself up or guilt trip yourself or shame yourself or sort of get down on yourself for not being this sort of mega superstar in the bedroom. Dear God, man, like don't that's so unrealistic. The first time you learned to drive a car, you weren't racing Formula One, like immediately. You know, you probably had like a little Datsun or a Nissan or a Hyundai or some bullshit, and you're roaming around the suburbs. Cool. That's what's to be expected, you know? Like I said before, sex is a learnable skill. And it takes time and it takes experience to get good at it. It takes experience to learn the ins and outs of the female body, okay? To learn what they respond to really well, to learn what buttons to push. It takes time to learn your own body in the sexual experience. It takes time to learn how to control your sensations, to control, you know, how long you last. It takes time to learn how to get out of your head if you might be a bit nervous. These things take time. So most importantly, I do not want any of you guys to ever beat yourself up over a less than ideal sexual performance. Fuck all that. You're there to have fun. And that's one of the main things I want you to go into your first experience focusing on, is having fun with it. Learn to laugh about it. Learn to explore your partner's body. If you can go into your first sexual experience, even if she knows you're a virgin or if she doesn't know you're a virgin, either way, it doesn't matter. But if you can go into that first sexual experience just looking to have some fun, laughing if something awkward or silly happens, like, you know, you're struggling to get your... This'll definitely happen. You'll be struggling to get your jeans off if you're wearing jeans. Jeans suck for having sex. Like, if you've got a pair of fucking jeans on, you're trying to get those bastards off your knees, it's horrible. So you can learn to laugh and make fun of that kind of shit. That makes you present in the moment. That makes you less serious, less awkward, right? It's relatable. It's something that she's going to be kind of finding. You're calling out the elephant in the room if there's like any awkwardness. So that's totally fine. It makes everyone involved kind of more relaxed and calm and less nervous. But more importantly, get in there, have some fun with it, have fun exploring the female body, because this is a new thing for you, right? And here's a couple more pointers like really specific pointers I can give you guys as well. If you happen to bust a nut quickly and early, well, typically you're probably going to, if you're a virgin, you're probably going to be a younger guy. Probably going to be easy for you to go into round 2 relatively quickly, especially if this is your first time having sex. It's new, it's exciting. Obviously it was exciting if you busted a nut early. So just take a couple of seconds, take a minute or two, recompose, have a laugh, dry yourself off, whatever, and then get into round 2 as quickly as you can. Why not? You know, it doesn't. If you can go multiple rounds, then if they're shorter rounds, but you can do multiple rounds, do it. That is actually going to make her feel like she is going to appease the female ego in her. It's going to appease that part of her where she gets off on getting a dude off. So if you can bust multiple rounds, even if they are shorter rounds because, you know, you're relatively inexperienced, that's still fantastic. Go in and do that. Another bit of practical advice I'll give you is if it'll help you to be in a room which is kind of dimly lit. So it's more nerve-wracking, I guess, to be in a room which is just like full lights, fully lit up, kind of like how I would do on a film set, where you can see absolutely everything. Because, hey, I'm not going to lie, some guys are probably maybe a bit self-conscious about their own body sometimes. And a lot of women are relatively self-conscious about their body as well. So the first time having sex with somebody, if the lights are like fully blaring on, you can just add this layer of sort of awkwardness, nervousness to a degree. Whereas dim lighting, where you can still see things, but there's shadow, there's still darkness here and there, that just makes things a bit more comfortable for everyone involved. And it's probably going to make things more comfortable for you as a first timer. the opposite of that being in a completely blacked out room. The problem with that is that you as a virgin, you don't know your way around a human, you don't know your way around the female body, so it's gonna be harder for you to fucking navigate and find your way into things and know if you're in and know if you're not in and know where the clit is and all this sort of stuff. So find that balance somewhere in between a pitch black room and a fully lit room. A dimly lit room will allow you to sort of see what you're doing, but have enough, I guess, leeway where you're not feeling super self-conscious and she's not feeling super self-conscious either. So that's a real practical piece of advice for the first time. But your single greatest asset going into your first sexual experience is going to be your enthusiasm. Your enthusiasm, my friend, is what is going to make it a fun, enjoyable experience. Even if, you know, you don't really know your way around a woman's body yet. Just by being enthusiastic about it, especially at a younger age like this, really goes over well. Like enthusiasm and energy and fun, it's just going to make it for a more enjoyable experience for both you and her. Let curiosity be your best friend. Like I said before, if you've never seen a woman's body before, you want to explore every inch and nook and cranny and kiss and lick and touch and fondle, fine, do that. Use this as an opportunity to explore the female body. Fall in love with the female body. I'll say that as well. If there's one thing that will really make you a good lover in the long term, it's falling in love with the female form and loving every goddamn inch of their bodies. If you're the kind of guy who, you know, ends up, maybe you will end up getting off on getting women off at some point in your life. That's also a fantastic thing. But appreciating the female form, loving the female body for what it is, and being really enthusiastic and being really curious and having a lot of fun and, you know, laughing off and playing off any kind of awkwardness, that is a surefire way to make your first time a positive, enjoyable, memorable experience. So I'd like you to take that with you. Hopefully, you'll be popping your vcard soon. My fingers crossed for you. I want you to take that attitude going into the bedroom. Now, there's one mistake that a lot of inexperienced guys do tend to make, and that is to do with fingering. So if you want to know the top 10 fingering do's and don'ts, then check out this video right here.